Lime Rock Park is a special place indeed, but perhaps never more so than on Memorial Day weekend. It is the legendary visit of sports car racing to Lime Rock Park on Memorial Day. It's the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Lime Rock Park, powered by M. Hi everybody, Greg Kramer along with Calvin Fish. Welcome to this absolutely beautiful venue on a warm, humid day, and the competition, I think, is going to match it. We have some great racing about to unfold, and Calvin, great to be working with you as always. And, of course, coming up here is going to be the 6th round of the Pirelli World Challenge TCR and TCA Championship, but in a unique twist of format. The 5th round ran earlier this morning. Let's take a look at those highlights. And it was some compelling stuff. A couple of options here at Lime Rock for this racing. They're running the traditional chicane. Ryan Eversley was on pole overall. Tom O'Gorman in a points battle had a good run, and at the start, Eversley looked like he got away with it. Watch for Lewis, pops to the inside, but Eversley and the Honda had him covered.
Yeah, very tight between the two Hyundais. Then later around Big Bend, problem for Jose De Silva, goes for a quick spin, and then early in the race, big drama into the uphill. JT Kupal and Adam Merzon get together.
And was able to get that cleared. However, later in the race, one of the front runners in Touring Car A, PJ Gronke, had an engine let go in his Tech Sport Subaru. But up front in TCA, it was the 2-point protagonists battling it out.
It's a 2-horse race, it seems, for this championship. It was a 2-horse race at the front with certainly other players in the mix. But once Powell got to the front, he led them home.
And Eversley led the entire way, building up an advantage and being able to recreate it under caution. But 98, Michael Lewis, in that Hyundai i30N, was able to set fast lap. And late in the race, Kenny Murillo, the pole sitter in the Touring Car A division, got it wrong by himself and got into the wall. But Eversley hanging on for the win. And for Eric Powell, another win on the season, stretching that points margin. Just an absolutely great day, and the crowd you can see here, absolutely fantastic. And let's get into our Porsche race analysis. And obviously, 7 turns, mile and a half. One of the things here, 2 classes at the same time on this track. To paraphrase Andy Pilgrim, the first half of the race is a race. The second half, when they catch traffic, it's a war.
Well, this is a bull ring, Greg. It keeps coming at you, and it's like putting yourself in a blender for 40 minutes here with lots of different ingredients, particularly with the 2 classes mixing together. It can be a toxic mix at times, but certainly a lot of fun to watch.
It is, and of course at this track pays huge dividends to start up front, and Gino Carini has caught up with our overall pole sitter, Mike Lewis. Well, folks, glad to have you with us here on our global web stream. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we're going to be building our CBS Sports Network show, and so there are times when we may be laying out, having conversations with producers and the like. We'll try and come back with you on the web stream whenever we can, but do know that we sure appreciate you clicking on us and coming in and being a part of it. We appreciate it very much, and those of you listening to us on SiriusXM, welcome indeed. Great to have you along for the ride for the entirety of this 2018 season. One of the things that we probably should address here, Cal, is it's warm and it's humid today, much more so than it was yesterday. That can change the dynamic up a little bit, can't it? It
can. It's a little bit warmer than they saw in the first race earlier today. So, but just a slight adjustment. So it's not like these conditions have suddenly been thrown at them at the last moment. It's been warm all weekend in terms of the practice day and practice sessions yesterday. And the sun was out. It's a little bit more overcast right now than we saw in the first race. So it'll be a slight adjustment, but they certainly know what to expect.
Here's a look at it. Absolutely glorious weekend thus far. It's overcast a little bit now, but that kind of helps and keeps the temp down with the cloud cover in the sun with this humidity. And this track has seen a lot of action over the last 2 days. Just got done with the Pirelli World Challenge GT qualifying session. One thing, everybody here runs on the same rubber, the Pirelli P0 Slick, so it's not like you've got all these variety of different manufacturer rubber going down on the track. Shouldn't affect things too much. Just when it gets this warm, that rubber can get a little greasy.
Yeah, it certainly can, and that's a factor. And if you've got an imbalance in the car, it typically exaggerates that end. So if you've got some understeer, it's going to typically wear on those tires. And you're loading those left side tires, Greg, around this racetrack. So particularly for guys like Tom O'Gorman with that front-wheel drive Honda Civic SI in the TCA class, he's got to be super careful not to abuse the tires in the early going. It's all about tire management.
Yeah, this is a track where you learn that the hard way oftentimes here, and I'm sure a lot of note-taking by the engineers after that first race to figure it out, add a little bit of temperature to the equation, and figure out exactly what the program is. It's only 40-minute races, but you can still, that left front tire, takes such a pasting around here. You've just got to always be mindful of it.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a lot of guys with the tire allocation sticker up, at least on the fronts here for the start. TCR car is going to be a standing start for this race, so you want as much grip as you can to get that launch. And the rear tires on the TCR cars, talking to many of the competitors, saying it's tough to get those tires warmed up and into their operating temperatures. So expect scuffs on the back and maybe sticker tires on the front for the start of this one.
And interesting, when you look inside one of those TCR cars, where a normal shift lever would be, obviously their paddle shift is this great big handbrake thing, and that's used to help facilitate standing starts because they use standing starts globally.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is a global platform with a TCR car, so certainly what they're using in Europe for the past 3 years is now being incorporated into the design here. 2-liter turbo engines, 4 or 5 door cars, and it's just great. We've got 4 different manufacturers represented in the class today. We have Alfa Romeo, who's been on the grid earlier in the season, but just exciting, Greg. 14 TCR cars here. It's going to continue to build, and I think next year it'll just be stunning to see the grid that we'll see.
And the track record established in qualifying, a mid-53, that is hustling a 2-liter 4-cylinder car around this track. So these cars, serious speed that they are able to generate here. And that great big handbrake, we understand on formation laps, sometimes they'll just ride that a little bit to get some heat in those rears. Well, we're getting very close to that very special command. With that, let's get down to Gino in pit lane.
Good afternoon, race fans. On behalf of Lime Rock Park, BMW M Performance, Pirelli of North America, Pirelli Tires, here to give the most famous commands in motorsports is the Motorsports Director for Pirelli North America, Orazio Mistrazio.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there they go, firing up in the background. And again, just have to say huge kudos to the folks from Pirelli Tire and Pirelli North America. When they came on board as a partner of this championship a number of years ago, it just took a huge leap, both in terms of the marketing and exposure that they give us, but also because of what they generate in terms of performance from those tires. Here is a look at our beautiful BMW M4 CS safety vehicle, and so lucky to have it. Just a remarkable car. Let's take a look at our Pirelli storylines. And Cal, I think we've got to talk about the top 3 seem to have a stranglehold on both the points and speed.
They do. The powerhouse teams that come out of the blocks really strong from Real Time and Brian Herter Autosport. Eversley grabbing that second victory of his season earlier today, extends the points lead over Wilkins, and Lewis in third in the 2 Hyundais.
But behind them, there's a pretty compelling battle for best of the rest.
Well, there was. At VIR, we saw some Hyundais issues there. Both their guys had DNFs, and that allowed Jeremy Daniels to climb on the podium 2 times there. But in race 1 today, what a day for Michael Herzen with the locally based FCP Euro team. A great 4th place run.
And in Touring Car A, it's kind of turned into a 2-horse race, and ironically, one of them seems to be a harness racer.
That's right. You've got all 5 wins by 2 drivers. Eric Powell leads by 4 points over Tom O'Gorman, and Eric drives that rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ. Had the victory earlier today, and Tom O'Gorman, he's got to really manage those front tires on the front-wheel drive Honda Civic SI.
And with that, let's get back down to pit lane and Gino Carini with any updates. Gino, what's the story?
Yeah, guys, I think the biggest story today is the BOP and the TCR cars. Both cars, the Hyundai and the Honda, have been given 20 to 30 kilos of weight and a 20-millimeter ride height adjustment. They're trying to slow them down. It seems like they're bringing the field back to them, but it was probably the right adjustment to make because we're up for some really competitive racing.
Yeah, incredibly close in what we saw in that first race. Obviously, the top 3, there's some awful good drivers in those cars, too, and that's going to play a role here. So we're looking forward to this one. As always, in the second of the 2 races, it's a standing start, and we will have that when we come back to Lime Rock Park. 27 cars, 2 different classes queuing up on the 1.5-mile track and the short front straight here at Lime Rock Park. Round 6 of the Pirelli World Challenge TCR and TCA Championships. The standing start. If you look off to the top of the guardrail, you'll see those black squares. Those are our start lights, and on the back side, you'll see it go yellow, and then at a certain point, you will see it go red. We're in a 5-second window at that point. When those lights go out, we go racing.
Yeah, and such an important start to this race in terms of getting that leap down into turn 1. Michael Lewis from the pole has to get in front of Eversley, who's had tremendous pace here this weekend. He starts alongside.
Yeah, Ryan has just been super quick, but we saw Lewis, that fast lap. Okay, the lights are red. We are in start sequence mode. We are back to racing. Oh, and Eversley did not get away well. Lewis did, but Wilkins comes up the inside, Cal.
Yeah, it could be a Hyundai 1-2 as they get down towards Big Bend. Eversley's going to try and fight back here, but he's got to be patient now with that championship lead. Fast now, a big, oh, that's Herzen, I believe, really wide. It is. Coming off that 4th place run in the opening round here this weekend. Scrambling for grip and the exit of Big Bend.
Boy, he did a nice job of keeping it off the wall, and you could see that those fronts digging for grip.
And he told me yesterday, Greg, he was very concerned about only one parade lap prior to the launch here today. He said the rears are just really light in temperature, and that caught him out there on this opening lap.
First time on the high-speed uphill. It is spectacular, and a full course caution is called, and it's a stall. Oh, boy, that's Eric Powell, the pole sitter and point leader, Cal.
Yeah, this is huge. Did he break something? Can he get some fire back into that Subaru BRZ? Key is you have to do 50% of the race distance to get points here today. He's going to go a lap down immediately. But the key is the car mobile? Can they get some life back? Let's take a look. Look at the back of the line there to the right-hand side of the screen, just stationary. Didn't look like he even moved.
No, it didn't.
Typically, you'll see a launch and then something break if it was driveline failure. But look at that ride that Herzen goes for. Just add in the marbles there, no grip.
No grip, and as you said, no heat in those rears at all. It was a brilliant save.
See someone diving for pit lane there.
So, off the go. And what usually will happen is if that car that stalls is able to get going, they'll just come around, and at a certain point they'll decide whether to go yellow or not. If he gets going, we just continue green. If not, and there's a car back there that is smoking big time on the right rear, and I wonder, I can't really tell, but that car, there was an awful lot of smoke coming off of the back. Now, they may have just been on that handbrake trying to heat that rear up and got a little bit too aggressive on it. So let's take another look from a little different angle on this, Cal, on the stall.
Yeah, this time look to the left-hand side. Fortunately, everyone able to swerve around. Eric Powell, our pole sitter in TCA.
Also a TCR car stalled there as well.
Our first standing start of the year at Virginia International Raceway. Didn't do it at Coda, and it looked like a smooth one there. A little bit of drama today, though. It
was. So, early under the full course caution, being led around by the BMW M4 CS car. That's the pace and safety car. Will be released to the public in July. We're very happy to have them with us here. We'll be back with more from Lime Rock Park. Looks like a half shaft snapped, huh? Yeah. Now back with you here on the web, and if you just got that look there, it looked like the half shaft just completely snapped. And there's the 25 of PJ Gronke, and they had that car stopped, and it was reported that it was an engine let go. I kind of was surprised to see him on the grid. Usually when an engine lets go, not a lot of time to make a change. They were able to get him out there, but right back into the pits he goes.
Tough for this group.
Sure
Causing drama early, and for our championship leader, this is a disaster. Only has a 4-point lead over Tom O'Gorman, and he'll get a 0-point score here today other than the bonus point for the pole.
Absolutely, and I don't know how it is that Tom O'Gorman, he's in a front drive car, and he seems to get amazing standing start launches, and he's leading right now.
Relating to there, Greg, is the weight transfer. When you take off, all of the weight is moving backwards and kind of lifts the front. It's kind of like powerboat when you hit the throttle in the water. The rear sits down, the front comes up. That's what happens with the race car to a slighter degree, and it's taken weight off the drive line, off the driving wheels. And with the front wheel drive, typically you're going to get a lot of slip and not the traction you're looking for.
And in that first race this morning, where fast laps established the lineup for race 2, was Kenny Murillo. Had the fast lap in that race, but then had that very late shunt, and it was a big one. There's no way they were getting that car onto the grid. So with Powell's issues, and O'Gorman sitting on pretty much alone on that TCA front row, not a surprise to see him be able to get into the lead, but an opportunity now as you take a look right behind him. Travis Washay, who had basically qualified in the 5th spot, sits second, and this is a man who's got a lot of knowledge here at this track. Milford, Connecticut is where he calls home. This is his home track, and we might be able to see something special from him today. But he also is in a front drive car, so you've always got to have those concerns about that left front.
Yeah, for sure, and correction on my part there, obviously with Murillo earning that bonus point, even though he doesn't get the start, he should still get the bonus point and not Eric
Right.
Powell.
Yeah, good point, yeah. Sorry about that. All right, we are getting word, folks, from Race Control that we are looking to go green next time by. We're going to pause for just a minute, and we'll be back as we continue to build our CBS Sports Network show. Lights are out on the BMW M4 CS safety car. It's already made its escape into pit lane. Michael Lewis brings him down into the acceleration zone, and he went before he even got to the bottom of the downhill.
He made his escape just like the
Yes,
pace
he
car
did.
did. So it's an Hyundai 1-2 as they head down towards Big Bend. Ryan Eversley, the championship leader, slides into third there. Big gaggle of cars, though, jostling for position further back in the field.
Brian Herter Autosport Hyundai's looking strong at the front right now. Into that 4 spot overall. A sub, Jared Andretti, couldn't be here this weekend, and Brian Ortiz steps in and sits 4th right now in that Copeland Motorsports VW.
That's a great performance by Brian, and came out with a top 6 finish in the first round, and just learning his way in TCR, but certainly a great fill-in for Jared Andretti, who's not here this weekend.
There's your leader in TCA, Tom O'Gorman, in the Grid Life SCCA track night car. It's being fielded this year by Real Time, so he's got some great support, and a recovering Herzen working his way up through the field there, just rocketed around Travis Washay.
Yeah, the good news is he didn't lose a lap or anything. Hopefully no damage. Just looked like he went for a ride in the grass. So if he can kind of get through this TCA field, hopefully catch another yellow or reset, he could still be a factor here today for a top finish.
Absolutely, and there's David Estella also in the TCR. This is the new Audi that is being fielded with a program in support of M1 GT. But we have seen problems right off the go, Gino Carini, for 2 of the key tech sport players.
Yeah, absolutely. I just happened to be down here in the tech sport box, and first of all, the PJ Gronke car busted a half shaft. The Eric Powell car, I'm sorry, the other way around. Eric Powell busted a half shaft. PJ Gronke's car had a linkage issue. They said when they jacked up the car, somehow the linkage didn't quite line up, and when they tried to go to second gear, it just didn't go. So 2 cars out for the tech sport team. Kind of a sad start for both of them, but hoping that they get through the rest of the race with the cars they have left.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a big hit, and particularly for Powell, obviously the points leader and a huge contender for the championship this year.
Yeah, that is a big blow to his championship hopes because Tom O'Gorman keeps performing, and he's going to want to take big-time advantage of this situation right now. If he can get a maximum point score, that will really blow out that championship.
Well, that's the thing. O'Gorman, he's got a couple of wins, but he's had 5 straight top 3 finishes. That's just clicking off points.
And it looked like it was just going to be a mano-a-mano duel in terms of just trading positions. But when you have a DNF, that is a big call to climb your way back out of.
A bit of a moment there. There's the number 10, Jenny Gannett, in her number 10 Gannett Racing Mazda Global MX-5 Cup car. got away with one. It doesn't happen often where you have a spin there and you don't hit anything.
No, and she's learning all of these racetracks for the very first time. The only track that she has time on is Utah Motorsports Campus, where she's about to reside. So that's where the team is based out of. She's got all of her track time there, so just learning the ropes, but doing a great job.
Boy, Michael Lewis has just thrown down a couple of very quick laps and built up a little bit of a margin over his teammate Mark Wilkins in those I-30N Hyundais. And Ryan Eversley has spooled it up just a little bit and closed right on the back of Wilkins in the number 43 real-time Honda Civic Type R.
Yeah, it looks like Eversley's car is now coming to life, finding the sweet spot. Maybe they started the tire pressures a little bit lower than the Hyundais, but either way, he's just got to be patient here. He has that championship lead. It's a healthy 11 points right now with Mark Wilkins, so he doesn't want to get too aggressive here. They know each other well, having driven for Acura together last season.
And you're having a look here at the 07 of Jose De Silva. What a start he has had. He is up 3 spots. That gives him the Optima Batteries Best Start Award, up 7 spots from the start of the race to the completion of lap 1 alone. Great run for him.
A little better than race 1, where he went for that spin, exiting Big Bend. So great recovery, great rebound.
Yep, he got tapped into that one, and this time was able to get through it all and do a superb job. So nice run by Jose as he works his way toward and up this daunting climbing turn. Boy, I'll tell you what, that is such a fast piece of real estate, and you are right up by those barriers when you come through that corner, so doing a good job. Eversley starts to really claw into Wilkins here. Looks like Wilkins, as a result, may have had to up his pace a little bit and stabilize that margin, at least to Lewis.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like Mark's car is as hooked up as Michael's this weekend. He pipped him in qualifying, but in race 1 didn't look like he had the same pace as Michael. Michael had a great strategy in the early going, kind of gapped himself to the 2 leaders, got some clean air while the tires were good, and that's how he grabbed that pole position. But Eversley looks like he's got a lot of pace. This recent round of balance of performance adjustments that Gina was relating to really affected the Hyundai a lot more than anyone else in the field, and I think we're seeing that here this weekend. Even though they run 1-2, I think Eversley's car may be quicker.
Look at here, we've got a great battle. Second in the TCA class, O'Gorman is climbing into the uphill right there, but this battle between Travis Wache in the Indian Summer Racing VW, and right behind him is Jeff Sexton, and that is in the number 89, and he is having a very strong go of it right now, and boy, he could use it too. I mean, he's always had speed, but just hasn't been able to quite have that season, and for Tech Sport, he's one of the lone warriors left in the Subaru BRZ TS, and having a good run right now. Can't even see him behind Wache, and that kind of gives you an idea of just a little bit bigger greenhouse on that VW. And as a result, Jeff
looks to the inside.
I think he's got it done.
Yeah, he does. Coming off that podium run here earlier today. That's a nice move, but Wache's going to try and stay with him.
Yeah, that was Jeff's first podium of the season, so obviously it's well motivated him.
It's amazing what a result will do in terms of a little bit of confidence. We've seen it throughout this championship season.
There's De Silva. What a great opening few laps for him, up into the 4-spot in class, and then Spencer Patterson in 5th. And we'll see now whether Travis can stay with Jeff Sexton. It looks like he can. That VW definitely has some legs. The problem here is this is not so much of a top-end long straight track as it is just sheer momentum, and the balance on that Subaru BRZ TS is pretty solid.
It really is, and you've got to have the speed through the downhill there, that final corner on this front straightaway, as Wache certainly comes back at him at the second half of the straightaway, but the gap is too big. So Sexton doing a really nice job here, trying to keep Tom O'Gorman in his sights, but right now the gap is 2.3 seconds to the leader.
Travis has to be fairly pleased, however, to be running where he is. Just missed the podium in the 5th round a little bit earlier today, and again, he comes from Milford, Connecticut, just down the road, and he would really like to get a podium here at home in front of the friends and family, I'm sure.
What a great weekend to have racing here, and a lot of locally based teams and drivers, so fun to bring out the family, bring out your friends. A lot of support for some of the teams here this weekend. I'll tell you what, I think for Tom O'Gorman, he's got to realize that Powell is out of this race, and you know, he's just got to really focus on Sexton behind him and just keep the gap where it is and manage the tires.
And we're just getting word from race control, Cal, that Ryan Eversley is going to have just completed a drive-through penalty. Apparently he moved before the lights dropped, and that may have been why he laid back a little bit, because oftentimes you do it and then you stop.
You missed the light then.
Yep.
Tried to anticipate it maybe, caught himself, and then hit the brakes just as it went went green, and maybe that's how the Hyundai's got the launch on him.
Well, in the battle here in round 6 for TCR, things just got curiouser.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more here in just a moment. Well, back with you here on the web, and wow, this is a huge development.
Well, this is a big-time development because Wilkins sits 11 points behind Ryan Eversley, who's really done a tremendous job. I was finishing on the podium, but right now he's just got to get his head down and put that mistake behind him. You know, the standing start is so important. I think he recognized that to get the jump, as he's 69. Girardi has got problems there in the uphill.
It's the Highland Racing Development entry.
He's offline there, Greg, in the chicane area, so he should be okay. Probably not cause a full course yellow. As Washay continues to put the pressure on Sexton for that second place in TCA.
Yeah, he looked outside and then came back down on the inside. Just trying to fill the mirrors of Jeff Sexton here, hope for any kind of a little bobble.
And the TCR leaders as well. There's Lewis trying to cut to the inside of...
Well, that's what we were talking about as well. It doesn't take long, and you know, don't forget that these TCR cars, when you're qualifying at the mid-53s, they are quick. 325 horsepower at the front wheels. They get around here in a hurry. And that's what we were talking about, that the first part of the race, when you're running by yourself in those cars, is a race. And then you get into traffic, and it gets absolutely furious. I know Wilkins just got parked, and there's nothing he can do about it. But he's going to lose a lot of ground to Lewis now.
Yeah, and the stewards really tried to tell the drivers, you've got to treat each other with the respect. The faster cars, the TCR machines, when you got that high downforce and that flow of speed coming down into the downhill, you can't just stuff it down the inside and give the other competitor nowhere to go.
And Mark Wilkins is, I think, one of the cleanest drivers on the planet, a true sportsman, and he was not about to do that and mess those guys up. And I'm sure they will be extremely grateful for that type of performance as we're keeping our eyes on. Whoa, that was close. And this battle for second here, second in the TCA category, and Jeff Sexton, boy, he was so close to dropping those lefts.
Yeah, he's pushing hard. Washay is keeping the pressure on. It's hard to miss him as well in your rearview mirror with those bright colors on his race car. Good news for Ryan Eversley, getting back to our championship leader in TCR, who's had to serve that drive-through penalty. Lime Rock is one of the shortest pit lanes, so your time loss there is only about 17 seconds compared to some other racetracks where it can burn you to about 30. So not good news. But so it's enough time in this race to recover.
Yeah, with the speed he has, he can certainly move up some.
He's got a gaggle of cars in front of him. I think he's going to get to the top 7 pretty quickly, and then it'll get a little bit tougher.
Well, the race is over and the war has begun here at Lime Rock as the leaders in the touring car TCR category are working traffic, but the number 8, David Ostella, is off. Smoke coming from the front. I think that might just be brake smoke, but he had parked for a little while. I don't know what happened there, Cal.
Problems in race 1,
yeah.
So first weekend in the TCR machine. And he's off, and this will help Ryan Eversley's cause as well. There should be a full course yellow potentially, which will stack the field back up. Let's take a look. He just gets wide. He's out in the marbles. Just can't get it turned. He might be able to get out of there. I mean, if he's got life and can find reverse, he should be able to get it out of that situation. I don't think the damage to the suspension would be that bad. But new car may be struggling to find reverse.
Well, that could be it too. That car is running, as we have now, a full course yellow. You have to. That's obviously a target zone there where Ostella is parked, but that's the Audi that runs the new sequential racing box, and they, as you said, they may just be having a problem right now helping him figure out how to get to reverse, but with the field bearing down, you have to make the call. So we are under a second full course caution here, and we once again see the BMW M4 CS safety car out, workers responding to Ostella over there. And it just was weird. It just didn't turn, did it?
No, he just got out in the gray, and there's a lot of marbles there at this stage of the day, and he just couldn't get it turned. So whether there was some kind of suspension issue, or whether he's just that wide and couldn't recover it and get it back online, I'm not quite sure, Greg.
So field will be gathered up now behind the BMW M4 CS. There are the two Hyundais, number 98 and 99 respectively. The i30N. N is essentially the performance department, if you will, for Hyundai. Let's watch it again here.
That was kind of strange, yeah, because he wasn't wide going in, and suddenly it just goes straight on him.
The drivers have said these cars are fairly aero sensitive, but I don't know that he was close enough to get any wash that would have completely stopped him from turning.
Well, he had an incident earlier in the day in the race one, so maybe there's some suspension damage that they didn't have enough time to check over. It's hard. You couldn't see anything dramatic with the suspension. It just suddenly just wouldn't turn and went straight. No ABS on these cars. There is a system in place, but they're not allowed to activate it in the shorter races like this. Anything under an hour globally has to run without ABS. So it's not a factor.
So David out of the car, and obviously I'm sure trying to figure out just what happened there.
He's very excited about this new car and the opportunities for next year, working with a sponsor up in Toronto to maybe be back for a full season program.
Let's take another look at that, Cal, and we're going to play it a little bit slower just to see if we notice anything that may have happened.
Third car in the picture. The brakes, everything looks good right to there, and then suddenly the car will no longer turn. Doesn't look like he's got steering input, really.
It doesn't. It almost looked like maybe that left front suddenly stood up on it a little bit. You'd think they'd have camber there. It looked like it maybe just stood up. So, I mean, pure speculation, obviously, but end result is he's off. But yeah, opportunity for a great program that they are working to put together. We hope it all comes together for David Ostella, Walt Golan, obviously, and M1 GT. Meanwhile, let's get down to Gino Carini and hear what thoughts are right now in the real-time pit.
Well, Greg, Calvin, as you can imagine, the guys at Real Time are not really that happy right now. They agree that Ryan did roll the start. I talked to Nathan Bonneau, the team manager, and I think his big beef here is that it took him 11 laps to flag him to come in for that drive-through penalty. I think that they wished it would have been earlier, but in hindsight, with the full course caution the way it is, it may work out in their favor.
The problem with Lime Rock is it's a short lap, so 11 laps is not that long, and there's a lot going on up there in the race steward box, so they want to make sure they make the right call, and they probably reviewed it several times, and by that stage you've lost a few laps.
Exactly.
The key is he's caught a bit of a break here where there'll be a stack up, and I think he should be able to eat through many of these cars and maybe look at a top 5 at least here before the end of the day.
And coming in, he had an 11-point margin, so anything he can do to stem the flow, so to speak, and keep him in it, that's good news. And notice here the number 25 of PJ Gronke is back out. He's way at the back, but at least they were able to get him out, and he's got some laps in the books here. And he's going to be awfully pleased about that. So as we watch the number 8 from the the racing company in M1 GT, David Ostella, and that beautiful Audi on the hook coming in. We're going to pause here at Lime Rock Park, but we will be back with green flag. We still have a lot of racing to go in Connecticut. Well, folks, here on the web, we're probably just going to lay out here because we're anticipating if this record can get off track quickly, we might be going green fairly soon. Big thanks to BMW. They also provide that M5, or excuse me, the X5 for our medical response vehicle. And nice job there as the wrecker. They know where the cutouts are, where you can stash a car, and they are just getting the number 8 Audi RS3 LMS into a safe haven, and we're looking forward to going back to green soon. Lights out on the BMW M4 CS. That means we are going back to racing here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Lime Rock Park, powered by M. And the driver obviously is instructed, go make your break. And the number 98 of Michael Lewis has to maintain that 55-mile-an-hour speed limit until he gets into the acceleration zone, Cal.
You do, and you got a mix of classes all bundled up here at the front of the field. So there we see our 1-2 and TCR. There's Tom O'Gorman, who leads TCA third in line.
And down we go. Lewis gets to the zone, drops the hammer, and away he goes. And keeping an eye for just a minute in the back, and you could already see Eversley drop to the inside and try and make the move. But up front, these two Hyundais obviously just get a big, big gap in a hurry, Cal.
They do, and they're going to be able to cut into Ryan Eversley's championship lead as things stand right now. So Eversley's got the work to do. He's right in the meat of the pack right now. Just got to work hard to cut through there efficiently without making any further contact.
And he is in a bit of a scrum here. It's trying to get through.
He is on the attack big time, making moves, slicing and dicing, but being careful at the same time. He's got tremendous pace. He's got about second in hand over most of these cars that he's encountering right now, but around Lime Rock, that's not as easy to put into place.
Up on the back of Dwight Merriman, running for Highland Racing Development, and trying to figure out a way through on him, and Travis Wache running way wide there. And is that enough? Eversley, nice move down to the inside. Look at Matt Fastenot trying to tuck underneath as well.
That was awesome. Eversley all over the curbs in the uphill and in West Bend. Car's working well. You need compliancy in the suspension to work on those curbs. Is doing everything right here today. A man on a mission, Ryan Eversley, championship leader, now up into the 7th spot.
He has the proverbial bit between the teeth, I think, as they say, and really putting together a strong run. Again, just a shout out here, just a tremendous job for the number 18 of Brian Ortiz, the substitute driver, podium position right now, Cal.
Yeah, he's going to be looking in his rearview mirror to see if he
sure
can get back and hunt him down. Eversley looking, 13 minutes to go. How far up this grid can he get right now? He needs to get in the top 5 at least, and maybe more.
There's O'Gorman leading in TCA. Do you think that maybe Matt Fastenot in that number 74 is thinking, if I can stay close to Eversley, he's going to punch some nice holes through traffic that I can funnel through here?
Yeah, he's a tough man to catch right now, though. Eversley is flying around this racetrack.
To see what his lap times are. Last lap of 52.3. 50, well, that was that traffic he caught, wasn't it?
Still in traffic right now, but he's running laps identical to our leader, Michael Lewis, right now. Both those guys running 54.7s. Wilkins at a 54.9.
Eversley coming up on the back of the number 72, and that is Nate Vincent. Nate, one of the 2 drivers in the FCP Euro by HRD and the VW Golf GTIs. 200
guests they have here this weekend cheering their guys on. Michael Herzen came through for that brilliant 4th place finish in the earlier race here today. Nate Vincent, very first weekend he's actually raced here, has a ton of laps at this racetrack. As you can see, Eversley totally on it, using every inch of the road, turn in, all of the road on track out. He is trying to go on the attack here and get this car into the podium spot. You can see Ortiz there. He can see the podium right up ahead of him. He's got to cut through these 3 cars and go after Brian Ortiz. Well, I'll tell you, when you get your left side tires in those high-speed right-handers on that paint on the edge of the track, that is living on the edge right there. Absolutely. Total commitment. And this racetrack, just like the one we came from with the GT classes at CTMP, it has consequences. You make a mistake here, it will hurt you. There is Vincent, that liquid moly machine, and he is getting that 43 real-time Honda Type R is filling those mirrors in a hurry. Eversley going to cut to the inside. Can he do it here, Cal? I think he can. He got a run on him. Vincent tries to protect. Eversley realizes he's just going to lose all of the momentum if he tucks it to the inside. He's just got a key here on a clean run through the downhill. Oh, that's a late move. That's a risky one. If there's contact there, you typically end up in tears. But he slows it down enough and uses enough of the curb to make the move, but he probably lost a ton of time compared to the cars up ahead. And props to Vincent for being willing to brave it around the outside there. This is a pass for position. You know, so Vincent is absolutely okay with racing him hard. He is. I saw Vincent actually tap the brakes down the no-name, so I'm not sure if he's got some kind of braking issue, just trying to make sure the pedal's there when he needs it for the uphill on the previous lap. See if he does it again here, if we get a look at it. Well, you know, what could it hurt? Just to be safe.
There is
There
Fostad.
it is. See the little flash of the lights?
Tap, yeah.
Little tap. Eversley eating up that curb on the inside, just trying to maximize the radius through the turn, increase the speed. This will be fun for him. He won't be happy with getting that penalty, but nonetheless, this is fun to just go on the attack.
And he is now, the next person in line would be for fifth as he is closing on Mason
this.
Filippi here, but up front, Wilkins not necessarily happy with just settling for second.
No, and they're going to try and keep it clean here, but if Lewis has got problems, Wilkins will certainly try and take advantage because he's the man who's closest to the points in terms of Eversley right now, running in the second spot, has 2 wins on the season. Both these boys had DNFs at VIR. Unfortunately for Michael Lewis, he did it before the 50% mark, so didn't score any points other than a bonus point for the pole.
And they're good teammates, and in a fairly short time, they become fast friends. But, hey, this is racing.
It is. You got to go for it because the championship is on the line. The manufacturer's title is so important to Brian Herder Autosport and Hyundai and for these two drivers, but there's also a driver's title that both of them want in the baddest of ways.
Absolutely, and there you see the 18 of Ortiz as he comes sweeping around the Copeland Motorsports, Military to Motorsports, VW Golf GTI, just a great run.
A big gap over Daniel, who runs in. Another impressive performance by Jeremy Daniel, sits in the 4th position. I don't think if Eversley can get through Filippi and Daniel, he's got enough time to catch Ortiz for that podium spot.
Problem there for the 55 of Mosey Uritsky in the Murillo Racing Mazda Global MX-5 Cup car, the Digital Ocean machine. I think he may have just had a quick spin or slide and is able to drive off again. Boy, look how quick Eversley was able to run down Mason Filippi.
Yeah, the key is going to be how much did he take out of his tires on this charge back through the field. That's not good. Car sitting right there.
Oh boy, and that's the car that won the Optima Battery's best start, moving up 7 spots in the opening lap. Jose De Silva. Yes, Eversley, I think. Oh, I think that was a wise move there.
Yeah.
Had to get out of it.
And I think the intensity will be ramped up even further for Eversley. He sees that car sitting on the side of the road. If we go yellow, this could be it in terms of his progress today.
Right now, race control saying covering it with a local yellow, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Eversley knows I need to get 1 or 2 more spots here.
The problem with that car sitting up there, if someone drops a wheel coming up the uphill, sometimes you can just spear across to that right-hand side where the car is sitting right now. Take another look at it and see exactly where it is.
Here we go, full course yellow, and that is the exact concern, Cal.
Yeah, it's just too risky. It's such a high-speed circuit, and you just can't risk anyone's safety with that car sitting there. You come up here, drop the left side, you'd immediately spear across right where that car is.
And Eversley was not able to get around either Filippi or Daniel, but again, that big gap that had been built at the front and the gap from Wilkins back to Ortiz in 3rd will go away. So if there's enough time when racing gets going again, and if he's capable of it, Ryan Eversley may still have a decent shot at a podium. We'll find out when we come back to Lime Rock Park. Back with you here on the web. We're going to just have a short layout here, and we're getting lots of radio traffic that they are obviously going to do everything they can to get this incident cleared as fast as possible.
There really was no option.
No,
you just had to
yeah.
Go full caution here and try and get that car moved quickly.
And in a way, I mean, obviously just the caution bunches things up, but even though Eversley was not able to get around Filippi, let alone get to Daniel, this caution, if we can get back to green with enough time, if he had cooked those tires a little bit, this could work in his favor for sure.
Certainly gives them a little bit of a breather. And looking at the championship points as they run, that championship lead will be cut down to 3 points from Eversley over Wilkins. And this is where you hate to run team orders. I mean, at the completion of the checkered flag here today will be halfway through this TCR season, and you hate to start making those calls within a team. But obviously those 2 points up front between 1st and 2nd would be critical. I mean, that championship lead, if Eversley is not able to make any more ground, would be down to just 1 over Wilkins if he got around his teammate Michael Lewis.
There he sits. Wondering what's going on in his mind. mind, and I'm sure there's a lot of chat between himself and Nathan Bonneau and the real-time crew. Welcome back, everybody, and watching the TCR field with the TCA field as well. Run through the shot as we drop back now to the 6th spot in Ryan Eversley. He knows the mission. It's just a matter of, is that mission possible to achieve in this short amount of time that's going to be left in this when we get back to green, Cal?
I tell you what, something I'm just noticing on timing and scoring, Greg. Tom O'Gorman, who was our leader in TCA, is down in the 6th position, unless there's some kind of timing and scoring glitch. Sexton is shown as the leader over Washay, so major drama here in both classes today. Eric Powell out at the start. Guy who's chasing him in the championship, Tom O'Gorman, suddenly losing a bunch of positions here in the late going. The real key for Eversley is, do we get back to green? Because right now that championship lead that he had coming in of 11 points will be cut down to 3 over Mark Wilkins, with him sitting in the runner-up position right now.
Well, and there's O'Gorman, so my guess is it's a transponder issue.
Okay.
I mean, again, that's just speculation, but he's right there. He still has Sexton right behind him. He's got Washay right behind him, so that battle's going to be a good one when we get back to green as well.
Yeah, see if it corrects itself here as we're looking at our timing and scoring screen showing O'Gorman down in 6th position in class.
Yeah, just losing laps in a hurry, so.
Yeah, it hasn't corrected, so yeah, transponder issue on the 94 car, but he's still in good shape, which is big news in the championship chase.
And we get word from race control, green flag next time by. And we're hearing a report, by the way. We wanted to get this in a little sooner, and then things got a little hectic here. But for Estella, there was a report that he may have had a sudden power steering failure, and that's why the car just sort of straightened up and went right off.
Yeah, and that would explain a lot if that was the situation with power steering failure down into turn 1 there.
Yeah, absolutely. And as looks like we may have to have another lap of caution. Lights still on the BMW M4 CS pace car. So good time to remind you that if you're a huge fan of this championship like we are, you can follow all the news of the Pirelli World Challenge by downloading our new fan app. Go to the Apple App Store or Google Play App Store and search for the Pirelli World Challenge fan app and start getting in deep. And of course, you can also follow along on many other social media platforms. On Facebook, just search for Pirelli World Challenge Championship. On Twitter, just search for @WC Racing. And on Instagram, 2 opportunities, hashtag Pirelli WC or hashtag Pirelli World Challenge. And as always, for all things Pirelli World Challenge, go online to the series website, world-challenge.com, and get all the information there. And boy, I'll tell you, assuming we get to green next time by, what are we at, maybe 2 laps?
Yeah, it's going to be a dash for the cash, that's for sure. And I tell you what, we want to keep an eye on Ryan Eversley as the lights are now out.
So we are going, and look at Michael Lewis working incredibly hard to clean those tires off, those Pirelli P0s, and build any kind of heat that he can.
Mason Philippi needs to have his eyes glued to that rearview mirror, or he's going to get run over.
Yeah, boy, this should be spectacular. And also this battle with O'Gorman, Sexton, and Washay, and we're getting confirmation it's actually 1 lap. It is going to be a 1 lap to the checker.
It's going to be tight on that, looking at the clock.
I would think so, yeah. They're lapping
almost
it.
Squeezed 2 in, I think.
And Lewis letting that pace car get way clear because he's going to go.
He's a smart boy. Maybe he realized if I really slow it down, it will be 1 lap, but it's going to be 2. I think they're going to be finishing the lap plus 1 more and still have a little bit of time on the board. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. And he's in the zone, and away he goes. Wilkins tries to go with him, but loses a little ground. Ortiz sits there in 3rd.
Oh, Eversley didn't get the great jump.
Oh.
Big gap there by Philippi over Eversley for that battle for 5th position.
And you're right, they have now said it is just green, white next time by, so you called it. They got around a little quicker, obviously, than race control and timing and scoring.
No time to waste there for Ryan Eversley. Didn't get the good restart he was looking for. Now he has to go on the attack. How much more progress can he make? It's been a great drive battling through this field, but time is not on his side any longer.
He is using every ounce of the track up on the curves. And there he takes a look. Can he get down? No. Swings back over. Realized that he had to be a lot farther along. This is where he's been able to make some moves. And he's going to try it, Cal. And
look at the background there. Fast out, dropping wheels there in the uphill. So what, Philippi drops wheels there. Eversley gets the run. How dirty are those tires on Philippi as you get onto that front straightaway? 1 lap to go.
Here we go. Mason immediately moves to the middle to protect, knowing that he didn't get the great run. Eversley going to try and look at the outside.
Try and do the over-under here. Can he tuck it down to the inside? That's what he's going for. Down to the inside. Brilliant racing here by Eversley. Philippi responds side by side off a big bend.
Philippi's got the inside now into the left-hander. And if Eversley can stay put, he'll have the inside through the right-hander onto No Name. And he is there. Philippi not giving it up easy. Finally has to tuck in, Cal.
Awesome racing between those two drivers, giving each other enough respect, but hard at the same time.
A lot of respect. You're absolutely right. So that has Eversley now up into 4th. Philippi in 5th. Here we go. Michael Lewis, Hyundai, leading him down the hill. Wilkins comes through. Has given him a little bit of room. Michael Lewis to the wall and to the win. Absolutely phenomenal run for Michael. Good points for Mark Wilkins. And here comes Eversley and hangs on for a top 5. Well, earns a top 5, and he did it the hard way, didn't he? He earned it. Here comes O'Gorman on scoring, still shown down. Now he appears in the right spot and gets the win. So that couldn't have come at a better time. His 3rd win of the season. And with the problems for Powell, that brings him seriously into play.
It really does.
Wow.
Massive. Right now it's showing just a 10-point lead, but I don't think that's the case. Powell should not be scoring points. Actually seeing Powell. Actually, Powell got back out there, got 18 laps on the board.
Boy, that's an achievement.
Yeah. That's just enough to score points. That is huge.
Incredible. That's a great, yeah. That means that crew was hustling. They had to change that entire half shaft out, Cal.
That is a great performance by that team, and those are the days that really make or break a championship. Great job by Tech Sport.
Indeed. Well, great stories throughout this field. We'll come back and hear from our winners. Unless they went and stood by the wall with his transponder. All right, folks. Wow, that turned into an entertaining one. 2 laps, green-white checker to the finish, and Michael Lewis absolutely elated, and understandably so, with that run. Pole to checkers.
Talk about the stranglehold between the top 3. Yeah. They've all got 2 wins apiece now. Wilkins, Eversley, and now Michael Lewis as he scores his 2nd victory of the 6-race championship so far.
I'm looking for him. There he is.
Round 6 of the Pirelli World Challenge, TCR and TCA Championship in the books. And that is one elated young man, Michael Lewis, steps out of that Hyundai i30N. And again, Cal, as we were talking about during break, it's even up in terms of wins for most everybody here. What a championship.
It really is. 2 for Eversley, 2 for Wilkins, and now 2 for Michael Lewis as he tries to claw his way back into this championship chase. He is one happy boy. Big day for Hyundai. Eversley, though, a nice rebound up into the top 5.
And there's the congratulations from Mark Wilkins. When I talked to them earlier this weekend, Michael Lewis, he was just absolutely effusive. Let me show you the car. Take a look at this. I think he is having the time of his life, and he just beat a guy in his teammate that's got a tremendous amount of front-wheel drive experience. Michael Lewis has adapted absolutely superbly to this car, and Gino Carini, 2nd win on the season.
Good job, Michael. Yeah, man. Thank you, Gino. Congratulations. Appreciate that, man. Hey, I'm down here with Michael, man. It has been mayhem. I mean, between his teammate coming over and all the excitement from everybody else, Michael, outstanding job, pole to pole. Not easy, though. Tell me about the race.
Yeah, first of all, I have to say thank you to Hyundai and Brian Hurd Autosport. Brian, thank you for this awesome team you've put together. Though you're not here, you're here in spirit. So, I mean, this team builds together really nice race cars, a lot of support from Hyundai. And like you said, my teammate Mark was pressuring me. I wasn't just hanging out there. I was trying really hard. Those Pirelli P0 tires really held up this whole race. So, I mean, thanks to Hyundai, Quaker State, Curb Records, I mean, everybody here because it's such an incredible feeling to win, and I'm so grateful for Brian and Hyundai.
Well, congratulations. Is there any better feeling than going 1-2 with the Hyundais?
No, I mean that's the point. So we got to get Hyundai up always 1-2 if we can. It's going to be tough. I mean we have a lot of competition out there, but man, that's a good feeling for the team. When we fly back home, we just got 1-2, so that's so awesome.
Congratulations. Enjoy your win.
Yeah, well earned, boy, I'll tell you. And Mark Wilkins was hounding him, no question about that. Another guy that got a great run, Jeremy Daniel in the number 2. And one of the reasons he got that great finish up into 4th is the fact that he is your VP Racing Fuel's Hard Charger Award winner. So up 7 positions during the course of the race overall. Absolutely great run. And he's had one of those seasons, pretty impressive run.
Very much so. 2 podium runs at VIR and backs that up with another top 5 finish here today. So he's definitely a man on a mission. And it's going to be interesting. I think sooner or later we're going to see one of these guys step up and kind of take on that top 3, the powerhouse teams, as we said, from Real Time and Brian Herder Autosport.
Yeah, no question. And obviously take a look here at the manufacturer's points. And good battle here, and obviously Hyundai is going to stretch it out just a little bit more than what they came in with at 5 to start this race.
Yeah, it's a big day for them in terms of the manufacturer points.
So you only get awarded your highest car's finishing position, and so a win versus a 3rd for the folks at Honda in that real-time Civic. All right, let's get back down to Gino with our TCA winner.
And I'm here with Tom O'Gorman. Tom, congratulations on the win. Outstanding job out there. I know it wasn't easy. Tell me some of the challenges of winning this race today.
Yeah, nothing like a green-white checkered for a little pressure, right? Yeah, the full course cautions add a lot of pressure. Luckily, my Civic likes to cool off and is really fast right out of the box. So I broke away both times, and then it's just down to managing that TCR traffic. They're 5 seconds a lot faster than us, way faster through the corners. So it's letting them by as easy as possible to slow me down as little as possible, and we brought home the win. I can't thank Honda and Real Time enough, my guys, Renee and Andy, and then also, of course, 1552 Carbotech Eibach for the technical support, and then Track Night in America and Grid Life. You can come to Grid Life Midwest in 2 weeks. Thank you so much, guys.
Great job, Tom. Congratulations.
Yeah, and I mean, and talk about a big day for him, particularly in terms of points. When you think about the problems for Eric Powell, amazing they got him back out to get something, but for O'Gorman, that is a big day for him points-wise.
It really is, and it could have been a bigger day unless Tech Sport went to work like they did, getting Powell back out there, getting 50% on the board. That is a massive achievement, so hats off to those guys and girls.
Absolutely indeed. Jeff Sexton and Travis Wache, what a battle to the end as well. So that wraps up our coverage for touring cars in TCR and TCA here at the Pirelli World Challenge Grand Prix of Lime Rock, powered by M. Next round of the championship, Portland International Raceway. First time the World Challenge has been there in a lot of years. That should be spectacular. But we're done from here. For Calvin, Gino, and our entire CBS Sports Network crew, I'm Greg Creamer. Thanks so much for joining us. And in association with WC Vision, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.